Hello, good day. My name is Dorit Bar, and I'm going to have a live session now with Michal Horev, a very good friend. Be with you for some time. I'm waiting for Michal to join us. Well, here she is. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Boker tov. Good morning.
Welcome to our live talk, in which we share our knowledge and inspiration about healing and relationships and being human.
Right.
I am Michal, and I'm located in Amsterdam, and I combine acupuncture with healing and therapy in order to help people connect to themselves and understand themselves better and live generally more harmoniously in their physical and mental beings. Dorit, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am a little bit excited. We didn't do it for more than a month, and I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Dorit Bar. I live in Israel, and I share a healing session in Israel and also by Zoom. My special field is conscious sexuality, conscious intimacy, and healing trauma. I allow people and teach them how to heal pain from the past in order to be more present here and now, and especially making love, conscious love. And today we have a very special and beautiful topic. We're going to talk about changes. And the title we chose together is How Do We Meet Changes in Life? But we had a short conversation just before we got on live, and there is so many changes in our life that we are dealing with, whether it's hormonal changes, something I'm going through right now. It can be changing in our status, whether we are married or separated, or we are going to live with a man or a woman. We change place we live, we change the place we work. There is so many changes, you know. I have white hair in my head, and it's a new thing. It's just especially in the last year, it's a big change. I used to have only black hair, and now I have silver hair. So I think we have so many changes, and the first thing I want to say to our followers is, when you start listening to this talk, just take a deep breath and think, what kind of changes came to my life in the last week, in the last month, in the last year? And you will see that it's a very long list. Sometimes it is small things. Sometimes when we live with someone, we ask him, did you change to the place where my glasses is? Did you take the remote control? Where is it? I'm used to it in a certain place, and then it's not there. So it can be very small, it can be very big, but anyway, change is part of life. So this is the topic, and maybe we'll start and say some things about how do we meet changes in life.
And thank you for this opening, and I'm also very, very excited about this topic. It's bringing up so many things in me, and I think that changes, we all know that change is inevitable, so we cannot really avoid changes. It just happens around us, and the first thing that came to my mind is what happens in us when something changes. And just like you said, it can be very small, like where is the remote control, and it can be like seasonal, because now it's turning into spring, and the energies around us are changing. And it can be that we move to a different country. It happens all the time. And what happens in us when something changes, and why does it affect us so much? And I think that the first thing I thought about that it was that changes kind of make a vibration in us, in our body, and it triggers something, and this trigger is emotional. It's also physical, maybe, like you say, hormonal changes are physical, but that is the change itself. And with the change itself, there is an internal vibration. It's like a wave, or like something is starting to shaking inside us, because there is a change, and this creates an emotion, like maybe I'm afraid now, because something that I really like is going to change, or maybe I'm very happy because something that was causing me pain is now changing, and so an emotion is rising, and there is usually not only one, of course. So it's not, I'm not only afraid of a change, I'm also maybe angry, or maybe frustrated, or all kind of emotion come together. And I think that's the first way to look at what is a change. How do we meet a change, like we call this conversation.
Yeah.
Do you want to say something about
yeah,
it?
I would love to. Yeah, I feel I would like to sum the headlines we just said, and then we open like a new paragraph. So the first thing we say, changes is part of life. Let's see it. Let's look at it. Let's look at change as something that is happening in the small levels, in the very basic things of life, and in the more meaningful part of life. So change is part of life.
Yeah.
And then the second thing we say, when a change is coming to our door every day, it is meeting our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, and I would even say our spiritual body. All our bodies are meeting the change.
Yeah.
Okay? And now we are asking, in which way do we meet the change when we are unconscious of the potential, the highest potential of meeting changes is very, I would say it now, and then it will be like a kind of intention to this talk. I feel the highest potential of making love with the change is being one with it. When I'm one with the changes, I feel I am the wave of life. But what I'm saying now, this unity is a result of a lot of inner work.
A lot
okay?
of hard work.
A lot of inner work, because usually for most of us, meeting changes, especially in the young age, we are afraid, high level of fear, okay? High level of anxiety,
Yeah.
high level of resistance. And always trying to create a secure life, a stable life, and feeling that life is not, why does life doesn't work with me? I want to stay in this job and the boss fired me. Why it's like that? And when we look at changes from this kind of point of view, this is the most lower level, the lower energetical level we can meet changes. We are victims of life. We are victims of change. If change happens, it is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And the first thing I would like to share here is, it's okay if you feel victim in front of a change. I felt it at least half my life. So it's human.
Yeah.
It's part of the mental human mind. It's part of the culture also. It comes from separation, because if I'm separated from life, then if something is happening, it's against me. Okay?
Yeah.
But this is when my mind, when my consciousness is young and I don't have enough emotional maturity and enough emotional intelligence and spiritual, then I really don't know. So I think life is against me.
Yeah.
Okay? Or we have a fight. Me and life are in a fight, a struggle.
Yeah. Our life
Okay?
is just hitting us with new things, new
Exactly.
changes all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
have to
And
stay here and just take it all,
Yeah. And then I'm a very, I feel pity on myself, or other people feel pity towards me. I feel weak. I feel helpless. And this is the basic level of meeting a change. And I think if we want to do the next step from this level, the first thing that I suggest for us to do is accept change as the way of life. How do I know it? Because it's always happening to everyone. Whether you have money, you don't have money, you have relationship, you don't have relationship, you are healthy, you are sick. Changes is life. So this is like the teacher. Change is a teacher.
Yeah.
And now the question is, do I want to be a student?
Yeah.
So maybe you can continue if you want. If let's say being a victim is the first lower level of energy stage, what would be the next one in your understanding?
Yeah.
If you want to answer that question.
So I think that the next understanding is the ability to, like, once we acknowledge that change is part of it, part of life, the next stage is to understand that it will bring waves, and that it will maybe shuffle everything, and everything will be new and scary, and it can be overwhelming in the beginning, in the more spiritual work that we're doing around it, because we probably still don't have the tools to deal with everything that it brings. So we are still learning what comes with the change, and how do I experience a change. And each change is actually very different, but what happens to me when I see a change in my life, and here comes the word resistance that we mentioned before, and we usually feel resistance to change, and resistance to the resistance, and we can get judgmental about how do we experience a change. And I think this is maybe the hardest part in spiritual growth, when you are still judging and resisting to whatever happens.
Yeah, but I would like to add about resistance is part of the change.
Yeah.
It's in my understanding, resistance is a surviving mechanism that we all have. And when something new is coming into my life, usually most of the time, my first reaction will be, no, I don't want it. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I understand that every change have a mechanism, first it comes, this is natural, all the time, changes is coming. Then usually I will resist. Then I have the option. It's a choice. Not all the time I know I have the choice. Now maybe after listening to that episode, maybe people will know. It took me many years to understand and to feel it in my body that I have the ability to choose freely, to accept the change, to accept the resistance, to accept in my body all the emotions that comes, the fear, the anxiety, the negative thoughts, but also I have to say the excitement. Something new is coming into my life. So usually something new is also bringing new energy, maybe vitality.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of things that are changing. So I would say that the next phase after being a victim is acknowledging the change, acknowledging the resistance, accepting both of them, and accepting my emotions. And then, only then, I have enough energy to meet the change, to say, okay, hello, let's drink a cup of tea together.
Yeah.
And let's see who are you, and or a cup of water, whatever. Yeah,
Yes.
please.
But you said it very shortly, and I just want to repeat it. It takes years to get to the point where you sit with a cup of coffee with the change. It takes years of practice, really,
It
because
takes years of practice.
we both
Yeah.
see so many people, and we talk with them about that, and it takes years to practice that, and not be too like judgmental about ourselves.
Overwhelmed also. Overwhelmed by the changes.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe you can say something, Michal. What do we practice? What is this years of practice? What do we practice? What do we practice practically in order to become bigger and mature, so that we can meet changes with more acceptance and more energy of wave and less energy of rejection and fear?
Yeah.
What is the practice in your
I
understanding?
think the practice is observing in stillness and taking a breath right before we react, because we eventually we will react, but if we can take a breath and observe and just say, oh, I see a resistance now, and okay, let's take a second just before we react. And the first reaction will be, no, why do I react? Why do I resist? And I'm angry with myself, and I'm angry with them. And why does, and maybe again, the victim role will come back again. And that's the first reaction that we may experience. But after a few times of practicing and many times of not managing to really practice, because the overwhelming reaction would be too strong for us to practice at the moment. But after practicing a few times, you will have this second to say, oh, a resistance, and okay, that's a part of change. And when we have this second to observe and react 1 second afterwards, we slowly learn how to deal more consciously with the waves of emotions.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I also would like to answer that question, because it's such a beautiful, what do we practice? It's like such a large question. But I will try, because it's a good one. I feel the practice, first, it's a daily practice. I will explain. I don't practice how do I meet changes only when they come. Because if I will practice only when they come, most of the chances it will be overwhelming, and I will be collapsing, and I will be blaming, complaining, resisting, victimizing, blah, blah, blah. But if I will learn with mindfulness, meditation, yoga, qigong, tai chi, any kind of breathing, just being conscious of breathing, let's take the most basic practice. If practice is part of my daily life, moment to moment, let's take a deep breath now. I notice my breathing, whether it's deep, whether it's shallow. If I am combining in my daily life practices of being conscious of any slight movement in my life with the intention of curiosity, I want to share that in the last 10 days, I started to have a change in my physical body, totally different. I never had it before. It's heat waves. My age is 48 and a half, and it seems like I am in my pre-menopause age, whatever it's called. The stage of the wise woman, and it has a lot of beauty in it, but it has also a lot of challenges in the metabolistic level and hormonal changes. So like 3-5 times a day, I feel blushed. I feel like I'm inside of I don't know, a canoe inside of
You feel like you're on fire, no?
Yeah, I feel I'm on fire. Exactly. Yeah, totally. Just for 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And I have to say, I feel privileged to meet that change with curiosity, acceptance. And in the first few days, I didn't even give it a name. I felt it and I didn't know, but then it lasted another day, and then I said, okay, Dorit, you are going through a change, it's starting, it's very collective, a lot of women deal with it, and now you should ask your acupuncturist and see what kind of nutrition, etc.
Yeah.
But the fact I am practicing every day, being mindful of every small change in my life, inner life, my emotions, my sensations, my moods. Every day I have a different mood. I'm not the same person.
Every day?
Every day, every moment.
Every hour.
Totally. The wave, look at it. This is the wave of life. And if we are starting to be aware of every kind of waves we see, then when comes a big change, like a tsunami, we are not drowning.
Yeah.
We are breathing, we are swimming inside the ocean of the change, and then we can also meet the potential of this change to teach us something, to give us something, and to be more in union with life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, just like you said, the practice is daily. The practice is, and it's not only about changes, or maybe everything is a change, but the practice
exactly.
is,
everything is in movement.
Yeah.
Everything is in movement. Even my body, even when I sit, if someone is really looking at me, I am really looking at me. I put my head like that. I'm not, I'm not still. In order
Yeah.
to be still, I have to put some effort.
Yeah.
So everything is in movement. Our body, most of it is water. Our water is always in movement. The earth is moving all the time. So do we want to learn how to meet changes with acceptance, with openness, and with curiosity? Yes.
Beautiful.
So thank you for that talk.
Yeah.
I would just say before you close our meeting that if someone wants to hear the last talks we had, you can find them on YouTube with my name, Dorit Bar, and also in Spotify. And maybe soon Michal will also have her own podcast. I recommend in her time. So thank you for being with us, and please write us questions, comments. How was this live? Did you enjoy? We like that.
Yeah, we would appreciate that, and it gives us inspiration for our next talks. So thank you very much, Dorit.
Thank you, Michal. It was a pleasure to meet you again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have
Lots
a good
of
day.
love.
Ciao.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day.